Hi, I'm Allison from Maple Life TV. I'm here with my friend Niru, and I'm going to ask him some questions about what it's like to live in Vancouver as someone international. Where are you from? Where did you grow up?
I'm originally from India, and I grew up in Dubai. I moved to Dubai when I was 7, and then I moved back to India when I was 17, and then did my undergrad there, and then moved to Vancouver in 2016.
Great, so tell me a little bit about what you do for work, for activities, and what did you study?
I'm primarily a concept artist and a 3D artist. I studied animation and design, and so I've been doing that since 2012. And right now though, in Vancouver, I work as a line cook at a bakery, and I've worked at 3 different kitchens as a line cook, just because you need to do multiple things to survive out in Vancouver.
That's true. Everyone has a side hustle.
Yeah, that's primarily what I do for work.
Great, okay.
What I studied.
So why did you decide to move to Vancouver to study?
So after finishing my undergrad, I was working as a freelance artist in India for about 2 years. One of my friends had moved to Atlanta, and he was studying at this university called SCAD. And they're an amazing university, and he was telling me about all these opportunities that were coming his way just because he had moved to North America. And in India, the industry in terms of like creative work is very unprofessional. Like, a lot of people will hire you and demand work at like crazy deadlines, but the second you deliver, they will not pay you on time. And like, I've had to wait. Like, I've delivered work in like 3 days, working like 18 hours each day, and then didn't get paid for about 2 months.
So better workers' rights here?
I mean, ish.
Ish.
But it's more just like there's better opportunities here.
Okay.
There's much more, like, there's bigger scale of like projects here. And in 2013, I'd gone to this conference called SIGGRAPH, which is one of the world's biggest computer graphics and media conferences. And I was volunteering there, and I ended up seeing a short film from Vancouver Film School, and I loved it. And I was doing research on different schools in North America, and Vancouver Film School was about half the cost of like the schools that I'd seen in the US. So I was like, man, it seems reasonable.
Okay.
And also, like, I wanted to go somewhere where the weather was not freaking crazy. So I was just like, all right, this seems cheaper. And
Gotcha.
I've seen stuff from this school. So if this is what can come out of this school, then I know what I can do.
Yeah.
Because at that point, I'd already done 3 years of study. I'd done 2 years of like working. You know, I was like, all right, let's go try what happens here, and you know, if anything, I'll at least get to learn and like see a bit of North America.
After moving here and living here for a while, you've kind of spent time in Bangalore, Dubai, and Vancouver. Which would you say is the most expensive city to live in?
I guess Vancouver, but it's hard to compare Vancouver and Dubai, because I think Dubai is definitely expensive, but I didn't really pay for anything there.
True,
I was,
you were a kid.
yeah. Like, my parents paid for everything, and because of the rules and everything, you can't just go and like work there. To get a permit and everything is a very convoluted process.
Right? Yeah.
But of course, comparing Bangalore and Vancouver is ridiculously expensive. Like, just to compare, my rent here is about, let's say, 1,000 Canadian. My rent in Bangalore for about 2.5 years was like 90 Canadian, right?
Wow.
And this is,
and not that long ago, too.
oh, this was still like 10 years ago, right? So
Yeah,
it's
I
like
guess so,
2012 to like 2014, but it's still like
That's
a
significantly
2-bedroom.
less.
Yeah, it's like a 2-bedroom apartment.
Wow.
This includes my like utilities, my internet, and like you could add like another $50 or like $60 for like food and traveling costs, but
Wow, so
it's
cheap.
yeah, it's like a fraction of the cost to like live there compared to here.
What do you think is the best age to live in Vancouver?
It's hard to say, because like I got here when I was 22, right? And I loved it. Like I think it was a great age to move. I think if you're, I mean, I guess it's weird now because of the law of like study permits not being over 2 years, so you can't really study undergrad here. But I think studying undergrad in Vancouver and sort of figuring out your life as a student and like getting part-time work, I think it's great because you get to experience the city, you get to go to school and like sort of, you can stay in like safe environments for the most part, and you get a really good sort of feel for everything in like a 3-year period.
So being a student is great.
Yeah, I think so.
I gotta say I agree. Like I'm a student right now, and I'm from the island, and living in Vancouver as a student has been really fun. I know that like the nightlife here isn't as good as other cities, but if you don't like need like crazy New York nightlife, then Vancouver can be nice, right?
I guess so. I had a friend move here right in the middle of COVID in 2020, and he was 27 when he moved here, and he just had to move here from the States because of visa issues there, and he had an incredible time. And I think moving anytime within your 20s, if you have like a decent income and you're able to sort of sustain yourself here, I think it's great to move in. But if you're any younger than that, like I think it gets a little weird and kind of like it becomes like weird to adapt to the sort of like general culture here. Especially if you're used to a different country or used to like different norms and whatnot.
That brings me to another question. Did you experience any culture shocks when you moved to Vancouver from growing up in Dubai and India?
I think a little bit, because for me, living in Dubai was just being around Indian people because there's so many Indian people there. And in India, as soon as you make friends with someone, like you will be in their house within like a few days of like knowing them.
That's so nice.
Right? Like,
but it doesn't happen here.
No. By the time like even in my class, like I was so introverted, and post SIGGRAPH and everything, when I first moved here, like I'd gotten out of my shell and I knew how to like be a lot more social. I was trying to like round up people and like take that initiative to bring my class together and sort of do things more socially outside of school. And the amount of resistance that was there, and like people just stuck to their like weird cliques and sort of
totally
just did not want to open themselves up to like new people.
They didn't want to be vulnerable.
And even more so, like people are more prone to like, oh, let's go out to like a bar and let's go out and like, sit at a restaurant and like spend money, and sort of this is how they end up like connecting and sharing time. But in India, like there's not really, like the bar culture is starting up now, but the way that even if we were to go drink beer or sort of like eat dinner or something together, we would go do it at like a friend's terrace, or like we would just hang out at somebody's house, and that would be how we would get to know each other and sort of like share stories. And that was so different here. Like everything had to happen.
Common.
Yeah, everything had to happen in this like weird commercial culture.
So if you could describe Bangalore, India in 3 words, what would you say?
Bangalore is chaotic, hectic, and like a lot of fun.
Wow.
Yeah. Like,
okay.
But it's about like when you're there, like it'll initially sort of like it'll overwhelm you, but the longer you stay there, you sort of understand like how to move through the crowd and how to get through things. But it's hectic because anytime you want to do something, like something will go wrong, right? Like somebody will just like, it will be the most inane excuse that you will not be able to resolve, but it will happen and you just have to flow with it.
Wow.
And that's the fun of it. Like it's very, very fun because
I love a little chaos in my life.
Yeah.
How would you describe Dubai in 3 words?
Dubai is shiny. It's very status driven.
Okay.
And extremely moderated because it's not a democracy and it's a kingdom. So all the information that you have access to is extremely moderated.
Filtered, right?
Very filtered. You have to be very careful about what you say in public. And and people are just chasing shiny things, and that's all they want.
Wow.
And it's kind of, I don't particularly care for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how would you describe Vancouver in 3 words?
Vancouver is rainy,
True.
weird.
Today.
and
Weird. Okay.
It's very wonderfully weird.
And
It's got like beautiful nature. Like it's just, it's so peaceful. Like,
why did you say weird?
Oh, just because of the people. Like, oh my God. Like I found so many weird people, and like, and I think it was the first city where I felt so comfortable coloring my hair. Like it's not colored now, but
So
for
like
the
weird
first,
in a good way. You mean like
Oh, yeah,
quirky
weird.
and like different?
well, most of the time, but
Okay,
then it gets,
yeah.
it gets like bad weird.
There are
real,
some bad weirds,
Yeah,
yeah.
It gets weird real quick if you don't like assess your situation. Like,
Or
look
go
it
to the
up.
wrong areas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, the last question is, if someone who's watching this is living in Dubai or India right now and they're looking to do the same move as you, like move to Vancouver to study, what would you recommend to them?
Say if you're moving here to study, unless it's like a master's program, don't do it.
Why?
Just because the laws keep changing, and if you have a master's program, you're more likely to qualify to get a postgrad work permit, and it makes if your goal is to immigrate here, which was what my goal was when I first moved here, like I wanted to move to North America and build my career and work in the industry here. Like it's been like a long, arduous process, right? But right now, with the way the laws are and how everything is, I think unless you're doing a master's program, definitely find other ways to get here. Don't start to come to study here because it becomes ridiculously expensive, and now you're just in like a mountain of debt. But if you're able to find work right away, for sure, I would highly recommend the city. I think it's a lot of fun, and every city is kind of what you make it. Like the city itself can be boring to anyone, but if you find friends and you find like fun stuff to do, like the city becomes incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe master's program, if you already have work or if you marry someone, then you could do it easier.
Well, I don't recommend
undergrad,
marrying
no.
somebody. Like, I don't know. That's up to you.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
yeah.
This is a topic for another time. Anyway, that's all for today on Maple Life TV. See you next time. This is Allison and Niru.
Thank you.